Yep, we're here with, it's Wellness Wednesday, so we're here with Dr. E.J. Raven and Jennifer Mulholland, who's a life coach. And you know, we really dedicate Wellness Wednesday to just making really small, simple changes that can really add positive energy to your life. And so each week we try to talk about, you know, subjects that can just help people just a little bit to make a slight change. And Jennifer, you're a life coach. Tell us about what you do.
So I own a company called Executive Awakenings that focuses on helping individuals and organizations reach their fullest potential. So it's really about, you know, helping people have the ultimate vision of who they want to be for their life and create a plan and help them get there.
So do you actually sit down with like the CEO, the vice president, you know, like all the major people, or everybody in the company gets to be a part of this?
Yeah, it depends on what the goal is for the company and what's needed, but typically when you involve all of the staff or all of the team, it really helps to do it from the ground up. So I do it for organizations on that level, CEO to middle managers, really people that are leading others, and help them really understand how to lead themselves first before they can tell anybody else what to do. And also I do it for individuals as well.
And what's your background? How do you become a life coach? I've always wondered, because I know a lot of people that are doing that and really heading in that direction. How do you become?
So coaching's been in my blood, mostly on the athletic field. Lacrosse was my our biggest sport, I should say. I brought the women's lacrosse to the state of Utah, was my claim to fame, and was really inspired to lead others on and off the field. And so that coaching model really carried through. I worked for a startup company that turned into a Fortune 500 company for 10 years. So my background is in the corporate world and really making sure that I'm modeling the change I wish to see. And that's really the essence that I carry through with the coaching.
Is there some help for Chris? What can you do to help Chris? He's a little coaching.
Lay back, relax. I have a life coach. I've been married to her for 12 years.
Yeah. Yes, and she's a good one.
That's right.
Know, she's
about the best you can get.
Yeah.
So EJ, we always talk about wellness. One of the things that we love about you and your patients love about you is that, you know, you don't focus on one thing. You're about wellness from A to Z.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're really talking about mental wellness. Mm-hmm. We talk about emotional wellness a lot. But one of the things that Jennifer was talking about was this conscious conversations, which I think is fascinating. But how does this factor into somebody's well-being?
I think that conscious word is so beautiful. Again, it's so easy to kind of get into the rut and just live, and we forget to get out of that little rut and try new things and make sure we're living and experiencing. And so the conscious conversations, I participated in my first one here a few weeks ago. It was awesome. Sat down, we had a conversation on leadership, and Jennifer kind of, you know, led us through it, and we had this one-on-one visit for a few, you know, I think 3 different people we visited with. And it's just a great chance to, again, become more aware and say, what does this mean, and what does it look like in my life, and what I'm currently doing, how does that line up with what, you know, this conversation brought out, and then it gives me a chance to make improvements.
Would you say that,
great.
Jennifer, we talk a lot about, you know, your health team, or I mean, Jennifer would definitely be a potential member of that team, right?
Absolutely. Anything that creates more conscious living in us, I think is fantastic. If it helps us to be more connected and more, oh, this is who I am and what I'm meant to be and where I'm meant to go and do, then that's going to increase our health, no question.
Absolutely. Jennifer, what's your typical, I don't want to say client, but you're coaching, your typical person that you're coaching?
So I have 2 different profiles. One is an individual person seeking to increase their performance in their career or just their satisfaction in their life. And then the other profile is more of a business, like we were talking about, that's really trying to either change the way they do things or just take their performance to a whole new level. The conscious conversations that EJ was just talking about is really more of a social networking opportunity to help people meet and greet in the community, make connections that are much more at a conscious level rather than saying, hey, my name is so-and-so, I'm from here, I do this. That's great, but it's bringing them to a deeper level so that we really create meaningful connections.
Which is so beneficial for a number of reasons. Number one, it does get you thinking differently, gets you, you know, really makes you a little bit more contemplative. But the other thing is just getting out there and meeting new people can be a good thing. A lot of times folks get you get into a routine and you're not necessarily bringing any new ideas, new people into your life, and that's not a good thing.
Well, and the other thing too is, I mean, a lot of business people, they want to meet, and like you said, social networking.
Yes.
What a great way to meet people that have this positive energy and that are willing to think differently.
Yes.
And so if you own a company and you're at a social networking, and what do you call it again? The conscious
conversation.
Conscious conversation. What a great way to meet somebody that might be a potential person for your company.
Yeah,
To see how people really
to
think.
have a
and-
real conversation with someone's kind of rare.
Yeah.
Right.
For
Yeah.
20 minutes or whatever the time frame was, you sit and visit, and you actually say, "Wow, you're a neat person." We
Well,
get to
and
go
it kind
deeper
of,
than that
this could
superficial.
be like the wave of the future of how you would interview people for a job.
Yeah, it's quite incredible too. I think sometimes people hear about it and they're like, "Oh, it sounds so intimidating. Do I have to stand up there and talk to 20 people?" And no, the only person that does that is me for a few minutes, and then it's all individual conversations. And after 20 minutes, everybody switches, and so you're put with a different person naturally. You just
Yeah, it's very
gravitate to who.
comfortable.
Right.
And there's an open bar. You can have beverages of choice. It's quite a relaxed atmosphere. And, the whole idea is that people are answering a question related to a topic. So this month's topic is about self-leadership. So I ask everybody to define, what does leadership mean to you? So when you think about somebody you aspire to be, who is that person and what are the qualities that they embody? And then how can you embody those qualities yourself this month? What do you need to do? 3 steps you need to take this month to embody those. And so it's really kind of, I call it closing the integrity gap of having people really make sure that they're living the life they dream of versus having it be out here.
Right. I want to be like this,
Yes.
but I'm behaving like this, or
Exactly.
I'm not making those changes to get to that.
Correct, and that conscious part
Right.
makes you more aware. Oh, there is a gap that exists, and I can be moving more closely towards what I want.
Absolutely.
And you know what's interesting is when you do participate in these type of different experiences that help you think differently, you kind of realize that gap is not so far.
Right.
That's right.
If I just did this little thing, it puts me closer to the goal that I want.
Well, and that's what you're all about, that setting those goals, figuring out what you have to do, and then putting that into practice. And it sounds like that's what you're doing here. Are you finding that more people these days, individuals, are seeking out this type of activity or trying different things?
Absolutely. I think because of the economy and just the state of affairs, people are starting to say, I have to do something different, and where can I go to get that support? This environment, what we're finding and what I've been finding is that when you can create a safe place where people can open up and be more authentic, then they realize that, wow, I have all this in common with these strangers, just like you were saying, right? But if we hold that in and we kind of go into the survival mode because of the environment or because of the circumstances we find ourselves in, we just isolate ourselves even more and we don't get that support. And so this is just a beautiful environment where when people can be vulnerable and real and authentic, then other people show up in the same way, and all of a sudden we have a supportive community that we didn't have before.
And
what's
again,
interesting about that is we do live in an age of isolation.
Yes.
With all the technology that we have,
Absolutely.
computers, iPhones, everything. It really tends to isolate people.
Yeah.
and you have to have those relationships.
You
and again,
really do.
I think the connectedness and happiness are so tightly
Yeah.
tied. The more connected and aware and, a part of the community we are, the happier. And then the gaps. You talked about these gaps, and they're not as big as we think they are, where we want to be. I absolutely agree with that. That we're really just, so much as, 99% is fantastic. It's that one scraggly percent we're working on. And we're closer than we think, and if we can find things that fit us, we definitely can move and get more of that balance and more of that, this is where I'm meant to be in our lives.
Well, and we know that that's a big part of what you preach.
Correct.
And so we're glad that you had Jennifer on.
Thank you.
Freedom Chiropractic, and we know everybody can find you.
HealthyParkCity.com. And
I
then
will
we've
be
got-
there today.
Beautiful.
Can't wait.
We've got 2 things, Jennifer. We've invited her in for a luncheon today. We still have room for people who are interested. 1 to 2:30. It's in my office. No charge. She's going to carry on that leadership conscious conversation because it was such a fun experience. I wanted her in there. I think it'll be great. So if anyone's interested, they're welcome to come. And then if you'll let them know on your conscious conversations at Glen Wild.
Great. The next one is August 4th. It's the first Monday of every month. repeats. It's at Glenwild Clubhouse. It's free from 7 to 9. And then again, we're doing this today from 1 to 2:30. My company is called Executive Awakenings at executiveawakenings.com.
And what's your phone number if
executiveawakenings.com.
someone wants to call and talk to you?
Thank you. It's 435-962-0122.
Great.
That's wonderful. Well, everybody needs a life coach, that is for sure, just to keep you on track. EJ, we always appreciate you bringing in such special guests that help really make those changes in life. And I'm going to join you today for
Great.
your lunch. I'm very
Fantastic.
interested in this topic, so I will be there.